Let's bring in a strategic an analyst and worked with the Labor Party for many years, now doing polling for the News Corp and elsewhere, Redbridge Group Director Samaras. You wrote last night that the Liberals ended up reflecting more of what the National Party position was rather than charting their own path. Can you reflect on our viewers, for our viewers on that for us? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, if you look at their politics over the last 3 years and the way they've managed particular issues, let's say nuclear, which is a really good example, it's always been about placating their coalition partner. Now that's come with a price because in addition to that policy and various other ones, including many other policy positions around energy, but also other social issues, they found themselves on the outer of urban Australia. I mean, they've got, if you exclude Queensland, there are 5 federal seats occupied by the Liberal Party in metropolitan Australia. That's quite a significant problem.
Now, where to from here? I know you wrote as well the last couple of days about some of the historical comparisons, like in 1983 when Bob Hawke won a convincing win, and some of the lessons from decades ago might be relevant today, Cos.
Yeah, look, I mean, for them, they will need to start working out how to speak to an emerging generation of voters. And we've spoken about these voters now on your show and similar shows on this channel as well, and that is Millennial and Gen Z. And these generations are not overwhelmingly progressive, but they are definitely in the market to be pitched to, because they are still quite unhappy about the trajectory of this country. They are going to definitely probably living lives that are of lower quality than their parents and grandparents, for example. So there is opportunity there for them, but they're going to have to pivot towards them.
Yeah, well, I know you've been talking about that Millennial Gen Z cohort, so important in terms of the numbers, and will continue to be. Anecdotally, I know from family members and those that have been talking to me in the lead up to the election and since, that reduction in the HEX debt was something for a number of millennials that I've spoken to and Gen Z, who it actually had a significant, tangible impact and on their votes.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we're talking about this generation. Close to 50% of women within these voter cohorts have got a university degree of some sort. So HEX debt, obviously. So there's a lot of Australians now that fit into that space, and of course that Labor Party policy really did a lot of heavy lifting for them, not only directly for them with regards to primary votes, but all those votes that the coalition lost during the campaign, and a very significant number of them were these younger Australians, went to minor parties and then preferenced in a very strong way the Labor Party.
Now, just finally, Cos, I've had a number of people ask me in recent days, I'm sure you've had the same question, why the landslide? And the thing that I've answered, and I want to see if you think this is accurate, but you and I spoke about this soft vote there in the lead up to election day, 15, 20% or thereabouts. And the point that I make to others that have asked me about it is that essentially that 15 to 20% soft vote, but it all went one way in the last 24, 48 hours. Is that true? Is that your read?
Yeah, pretty much so. But also, if you dig deep into these group of Australians, they're from a values perspective, we're always going to go that way. So once the Liberal Party, and I only focus on the Liberal Party, not the coalition, framed itself in a particular way, from the beginning of the campaign, it was done and dusted for them. These people were going to land on there. I mean, we were picking it up in our polling. I mean, we were projecting in just some key seats, which of course included Longman and Leichhardt and those Queensland seats that did fall. 54 two-party preferred for the Labor Party and a significantly declining primary vote for the coalition. So clearly it was heading that direction, because that's how the campaign started from Dutton's perspective.
Samaras, Director at Redbridge, we appreciate your insights as always. I know it's been a busy few months for you. Thanks for making the time as we look at the ongoing wash-up.
No problem.